We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please.
JJ Buck.
Champagne on ice. You ready to celebrate tonight? No jerseys, I don't see. Well, maybe I know. I would imagine there's one on the other side of the glass. I would bet that there certainly is one. You ready to celebrate tonight? Could be a big night in Denver. A night that, well, maybe we've never seen the likes of, as the Nuggets are one win away from an NBA championship. They play the Heat tonight up at Ball Arena. Good morning to you and Merry Monday. Welcome to the work week and welcome to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta, JJ Buck. How you living?
Living good. Super excited for Game 5, and there's something on ice getting ready for this game tonight.
Something on ice. So you sound like, well, maybe, but you're not ready to let yourself go and accept this the champagne and it's ready and cases and cases and cases
the
of it.
trophies in the building.
Yep.
The champagne, whatever it is that you're going to be popping post games on ice. That building, that city is ready to explode because the performance from the Denver Nuggets has been unbelievable in the NBA Finals.
108.95 was the number on Saturday night and Friday night. Seems like forever ago, but it was Friday night. 108.95. And they did it in a way where maybe you wouldn't expect. Nikola Jokic was in foul trouble. Soft call, by the way, on number 5. I mean, a soft call on number 5. You disagree?
No, it was. Floppy from Bam.
Well, I mean, for a superstar to get that call in that situation, and that's where you get conspiracy people screaming, right? I mean, that's exactly where the people come out and they want the series to go long and look at that. But be it what it was, that was your Bruce Brown game. Like you had your Christian Brown game and you had your Bruce Brown game, and it reminds me of the way these things are won, JJ. It reminds me of your superstars are consistent. And Jokic still had 23 and 12 with 4 assists. And Jamal Murray had 15 points. But you had, I think back to, and we've had this conversation, whether it's a Derek Fisher game or a Robert Horry game or you want to go way back, a Steve Kerr game or a John Paxson game, right? Where it's not always the dudes, it's what are referred to as the role players. And that was the night. And they did it in a way where it proves to you why the better teams tend to survive, right? The better teams, the deeper teams. When you're making such a long run and you're going through 4 series, up to 7 game series, and I think that's what the majority of people thought Miami was. It's not over yet, but I think that's what's proven out.
Yeah, what we saw from the Nuggets on Friday night was checking the boxes in all areas. They got the bench play. They outscored the Heat bench. We'll definitely dive into the fact that it was the Aaron Gordon game with what he did from start to finish offensively and the way he's played defense on Jimmy Butler. And really what stood out to me is they won a quarter where Jokic was on the entire bench. Now, at the end of the day, or the end of the night, it was 22-22 in the fourth quarter. But they played their best basketball of the season with Joker on the bench. Usually this team has fallen apart when Nikola Jokic is on the bench, and they don't know what to do on either side of the floor for as many people as want to bust on Joker for not being a defensive player. But they absolutely
it's a bad bust.
Lose those minutes. And on Friday night, they didn't. They were competitive. They hit shots. They're still moving the basketball. And for Miami, you have to be wondering, what else can we do? You got Joker in foul trouble. You had a game where he only had 4 assists, and he didn't score 41 points. You're at home, and the Nuggets just took 2 road games in Miami.
Yeah, it's and that's how championships are won. It just is, and you watch what they've done methodically, and just go through the season and go through the playoffs, and maybe we're one game, one win premature, but that's what they are, and it's been fun to watch this particular club. Just kind of go through this and do it the way that they have done it. It's been special. All right, 505-246-0610 is how to get to us today. 505-246-0610. That is the 377 Brewery hotline. It is also the text line. You can get us at Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com, JJ at sportsanimalabq.com on the email, and on the Facebook, the OD and the AM. You can watch the show there. JJ's Twitter's at @_JJ Buck. Guest list today, 9 o'clock today. We're going to talk with Bastion Amont. JJ, how about that story? The Lobo, who didn't play really well at the NCAA championships at Grayhawk, has qualified. He's one of 18 qualifiers from around the country for the U.S. Open, which will be this week. It'll start on Thursday at the LA Country Club in Los Angeles. And so Bastion's going to be with us to talk about the qualifying process. And I don't know that people understand it. That this is, you can get into a qualifier. I mean, we all, there's sectional, there's levels to the qualifiers. And, that's what makes the U.S. Open so completely open, right? Is anybody can qualify for this, or at least try to. Actually, let me rephrase this, because we can't qualify. We can attempt to.
Yeah.
Yes. But he's so good. I think it's a great story. So we're gonna do that at 9 o'clock. A lot of NFL stuff over the weekend, and the golf. Did you watch the golf yesterday? Did you stick around and watch the 4 extra holes of the Canadian Open?
A 72-foot eagle putt for
The
Canadians to win it.
the scene at the Canadian Open in Toronto, for the first time in 69 years, a Canadian won their national championship, and it took a 72-foot birdie putt on the 4th hole of extra play for it to happen, and the place went freaking bonkers. And I don't know, maybe Liv has that kind of stuff, but that's, you know what tradition does? That kind of stuff. If it was a brand new tournament, you don't have 69 years of waiting. You know what I mean? Like no, honestly,
that was fantastic. The moment for Nick Taylor, the way he overcame a really rough start. He was like in 120th after the first 9 holes plus 3.
Yep.
Come back in the playoff, and that was at the buzzer, electric moment right there for the game of golf.
Scratching to make the cut, and then there he is at the end, and just pours in a bomb. By the way, the longest putt of his career. He'd never made a longer putt. And Tommy Fleetwood is who he was playing against in the playoff, and just all Tommy Fleetwood could do was sit there and stare at it and shake his hand. And I thought it was terrific. All right, I'm gonna go back to the hoops. I want to spend some time on what we're going to watch tonight. You guys, if it happens, and maybe we talk about it more later, the significance of the moment in the history of Denver sports. Okay, I got to believe the first time they won the Super Bowl, the Broncos would be number one. Is that fair?
Yes. Especially with all the heartache that they went through trying to get to that point with John Elway at quarterback.
Bigger than when they won the Cup for the first time?
I think so, just because of the longevity of the Denver Nuggets in the city.
This would be.
Yes.
Denver's a good hockey town now.
It's a great hockey town.
Yeah, I don't think people who don't appreciate hockey or don't like hockey or aren't hockey fans, I'm trying to put the right way to say it, I don't know that they understand how big of a play the Avalanche is in Denver to on that sports scene. It's help me put that one into perspective for people who are not hockey fans who don't get it, because they're I would argue with you
The
that
one
they
thing
are
about
above the
Denver
Nuggets. Yeah.
is it doesn't get talked about as like in New York or Chicago, but it's one of those towns. Like the support for the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, it's on par with anyone else. Like they're all in on those sports.
If I said to you that in that town, the Avalanche were number 2 after the Broncos and above the Rockies and the Nuggets, would you think I'm wrong? DC? I mean,
That's an interesting one because a lot of kids saw the Avalanche win a championship when they're young. Now they're adults, so it kind of carried over, and we've never seen that with the Nuggets. So it is an interesting question. I think there are times where Avalanche is number 2. But if they win tonight, that could definitely change.
Well, I mean, popularity-wise over the years, right? I think the NFL rules every market it's in. But I think, like in Detroit, I would tell you the Red Wings are number 2, right? People don't think of the Blackhawks in Chicago, but boy, they're certainly above the White Sox. But in that market, you don't think? I mean, I don't know. Over the years, I always got the sense that the Avalanche were kind of like the number 2 love after the Broncos, and then the Rockies, being the infant of the group, might have even been number 4. But certainly, I just always got the feel that this was a hockey town more than a basketball town or even a baseball town. And then here we are now. You had that 1 year, right, where the Rockies made it to the World Series. That's right. No, the Rockies were actually in the World Series. That happened. And now you've got this run. I'm trying to put it all into perspective for people who because people who don't appreciate hockey, who don't like hockey, I think always automatically put it as number 4 in every market, and it's not that way.
It's not that way in Denver. I think when you look at the Avalanche, what helps is the first year they're in town, and then they're hoisting a Stanley Cup trophy, and they've won 3 since '96 when they went from Quebec to Denver. So they've absolutely exploded on the scene. As DC mentioned, I was one of those kids. I was a kid. I was like 8 years old when the Avalanche won their first Stanley Cup, and so I grew up with those expectations for that franchise. But I do think the Nuggets, because of their longevity in the market, and they've gone through the highs and lows. And Michael Malone will tell you that when he first got there, that building wasn't popping, and it was kind of that dip after the high of Carmelo Anthony, where all of a sudden you brought expectations back to a franchise. They had a Western Conference Finals appearance in there, but they can never get over the hump, and then they trade him. They go through this building process, and to get back to this point. There's a lot of people that have spent a lot of years invested in the Denver Nuggets that this could be their number 2 moment for them.
One thing that's really telling is Nuggets fans in Denver haven't been watching home games for like 3 years, and they're still rocking that building.
So what's the deal there? Because it was on altitude. They don't, the availability of the home broadcast is hard. Is it not? I mean, I help me with that.
So right now, Comcast and the Cronkies are butting heads and have been for over 3 years now. And essentially, you don't get home games or away games on altitude in Denver. So you have to either have DirecTV, you have to have a VPN, you have to have a way to get around that. But if you have Comcast, you have no Nuggets, no Avalanche. Kind
of like the Dodgers had that with when they changed their local carrier as well. How come that even? JJ, I had this conversation. How can that even be in today's day and age? But the Pac-12 network is still that way, right?
Yeah. But just think about what they've done in that market.
Yeah.
For the, who knows the X amount of consumers number that have Comcast in Denver and they're like, hey, you can't watch Nuggets or Avalanche.
Well, you know what helps? Winning.
Find a way.
I mean, you won a cup last year. And how about the little run that town's on, right? I mean, you win a cup, win an NBA championship, and it's been a long time. This could be special tonight. All right, 505-246-0610, 505-246-0610 is how to get here. When we get back, JJ just said, this last night or the other night, Game 5, right? Game 4, the last one that was played, might have been the Aaron Gordon night. I would argue that there was a different one that was the Aaron Gordon game, which makes this even more special. We'll talk about that next on the opening drive. Good Monday morning. Thanks for being with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about. We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
NBA Finals. Nuggets coming off of a 108-95 win in Florida have a chance to close out the NBA championship and put away the Miami Heat, raise a banner. They cut down nets, do it all, and it could be a big night in Denver. It's the opening drive. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. Glad you're with us. So Murray had. I'm sorry. You were telling me that you think it's a big night. This would have been the game where it was the Aaron Gordon game. And I'm with you. I thought he was terrific. I go back to game one. Was it game one? Yeah, where he was scoring early. He didn't have the same amount of points. He had 16 points and 6 rebounds. But I thought they needed him so badly in that game to set the tone. And I don't know that we need to put a label on it. You can just say, I mean, this was his series. I'm going to think of game 4, JJ, more of the Bruce Brown game, because I thought Bruce Brown.
The fourth quarter.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, and because it was when Jokic was out, and Jokic goes out, and you're like, okay, here we go. I mean, that place is going nuts. This is what Miami does. They're in Florida, and you've given them, whoever you happen to be, but you've given them the opening. And I watched Bruce Brown go bonkers coming off of the Christian Brown game the night before, or the game before. I don't know. Maybe we're picking nits here and deciding whose game this was, but I thought that Aaron Gordon has been so key in this whole series. He's your number 3, and he played like it.
Yeah, he's been a number 3 in the series, and he is viewed as the number 4. Aaron Gordon is played his best basketball as a Denver Nugget in the NBA Finals. He has been phenomenal. You look at his defense, what he's done, the numbers. He held the Heat to just 30% shooting, contesting 70% of the shots that were taken against him on Friday. That's with a lot of the time being the primary defender on Jimmy Butler. That's coming off a series where he was the primary defender on LeBron James. And his confidence on the offensive end was unbelievable, hitting three-point shots, attacking in the lane. And you saw flashes, you saw sparks of the dude that was selected number 4 overall by the Orlando Magic. And Aaron Gordon, while his mindset, I love what he brings to the table, because he said, I have to defend and rebound for this team.
Mm-hmm.
But when his opportunity is there, he has absolutely rose to the occasion offensively, because in this series, guys on the perimeter, Michael Porter Jr., he was essentially benched in the second half of
he
that
should have
game.
been.
He's
by
not
the way.
shooting. He's not defending like he should. KCP has not been there as the guy that's hitting 2 to 3 3-point shots a game, and while he's still playing defense, Aaron Gordon is why the Nuggets aren't just winning this series; they're up double digits in these wins.
So Jokic is the MVP, right? I mean, this isn't an argument. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Who's number 2?
Jamal Murray.
It's Aaron.
Dude has 10-plus assists in all 4 games. Now, Aaron Gordon,
yes,
is absolutely in that conversation because of the defensive piece to it.
Yes.
And if you want to swing me over the top with that, with a guy that is averaging 16.5 points, 7.5 rebounds in the series, that is Aaron Gordon.
What's he? 16.5 and 7. What's Murray averaging? This is not a slight on Jamal Murray.
That's
okay?
why they're in this position.
Yeah, it's not a slight, and I the context I use, and I'm going to use it again. If you think Michael's better than LeBron, you're not saying LeBron's not good, right? I mean, Murray's been terrific, but I would go Gordon because I think he's been more consistently terrific on both sides of the floor. I think he rebounds. He's been doing the dirty work. He's been getting loose. He's been shutting it down. And here, let me give you this. I want you to go back one series. So go to the Lakers series, okay? That was the conference championship, okay? Do you remember how the Lakers were playing Aaron Gordon on the offensive, or on the when they had the ball, when the Nuggets had the ball? Do you remember they were? I mean, begging him to shoot. Do you know what he was from 3-point land in Miami the other night? He was 3 of 4. The Lakers were begging him to shoot. His confidence was shot. He couldn't make a shot. He was, I don't want to say an offensive liability, but he was an offensive nothing. I mean, it was an afterthought almost, right? And in that, what he turned himself around into, and it just goes so deep into the whole confidence thing. I mean, it doesn't matter because they don't give out a trophy for number 2, right? So it really doesn't matter. But, I mean, he has been terrific. And
But
I remember
his story is,
yeah.
If the Denver Nuggets do win an NBA championship, Aaron Gordon's run in the postseason, Aaron Gordon's performance in the NBA Finals, it will never be forgotten. Like, he is going to be that dude where you have Joker and Murray, that two-man game, how awesome they are, and people are going to go, oh, do you remember Aaron Gordon and how impactful he was?
And then there's going to be, when you guys tell this story, and again, I'm assuming they're going to win one of the next 3 games, right? And I feel like it's going to be tonight. And by the way, I did call the Nuggets again on Friday, did I not?
Yes, you did.
You're going to go back, and this is going to be one of those teams that is revered forever. You know, Alex English comes back, and people love on him, and you know, David Thompson sitting up in the suite. This is going to be one of those 20, 30 years from now. Bruce Brown's going to come back, and Christian Brown's going to come back. I mean, Jokic is always going to be, right? Jokic is always going to be that guy. But the appreciation that your fan base, and I say yours because, well, you guys are Nuggets fans, are going to have for these guys. And Michael Malone played 3 dudes the other night off the bench. That's it. 3 dudes. We're not playing it here, you know, and you'll remember that Christian Brown game. And somebody's going to do it tonight or whenever it is they win. I mean, do you think they're going to win with Jokic going for 45? Or is it going to be spread around like they've been doing it?
I think it's going to be spread around.
Yeah.
Like they've been doing it. And this is one thing. The Heat are a fantastic story. And I believed in them because of what they have overcome, the teams that they beat, the way they took out Milwaukee. And I know Giannis wasn't a huge factor in that series, but Jimmy Butler was supernova. Beating the Celtics, now they lost the 3 games to none lead. And so that showed some of the warts that they have. And we've heard people say it before, you know, they are an 8 seed, but they still got you this point. But what the Nuggets are doing is not just being the more talented team. All the stuff that we've said about Miami, Denver's matched that. When they needed to be physical, when they needed to have the grit, when they needed the it mentality. Their best player, like Michael Malone, was able to sit Nikola Jokic the majority of the fourth quarter because of the way the team responded. You want to talk about it? You want to talk about culture? Well, the Nuggets are definitely showing that, too, in the NBA Finals.
What was your thought process? Nikola goes out with 9 minutes-ish, right, to go. He got his 5th foul. They were up by, I want to say, by 7 or 8. What'd you think? And were you saying bring him back, even though they were holding on to the lead? Because I was at 5 minutes, at 6 minutes, at 4 minutes. I'm like, when's he going to? You got to bring him back.
Yeah, and that moment right there showed that this Nuggets team has everything that we said Miami has, and they just happen to have more talent, and so they're able to overcome the culture, the grit, the grind of the Heat because Malone didn't panic, and Jamal Murray stepped up. He had 3 assists in that fourth quarter. We saw what Bruce Brown was able to do. And that was the best quarter that the Nuggets have played all season long with Jokic on the bench that long. And it came in the NBA Finals on the road.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, as much as a championship, a win tonight would mean to the state of Colorado and Nugget fans, something happened yesterday, and it means probably even more to an entire country. We're going to talk about that, and bang was the answer. That's when we come back. Hey, summertime's road trips. Took one this weekend. Took a big, long road trip. Got in the vehicle and was so glad it was cleaned and detailed. On the Spot Automotive Detailing is going to do that for you. Have your vehicle ready for summer. Have it ready for the kids. Have it ready for those road trips. They're out of school. You're starting trips. Get it ready. Have On the Spot Automotive Detailing come to you and detail your vehicle. So what does this mean? And people ask me all the time, really? So they could, yes, they come out to wherever your vehicle is, wherever you're working. So they come to my office. And while I'm working, they're out in the parking lot. They're working too. And they're detailing my vehicle. Inside, outside, under the seats, around the rims. Like, this is what the car dealers do. And so when they're done, your vehicle looks and feels and smells like the day you took it off the lot. It's ready for the road, ready for the kids, ready for those vacations. Ask them about a fresh coat of wax or ceramic coating for extra protection as well. Schedule now at 505-859-2859. It's area code 505-859-2859 or online at otsdetailing.com.
Busy commute along.
pitch. There's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there as La Cueva will score. Antonio Lucero, second baseman, quite the hitter. Shot to third, and good catch, and she gets the out. Outstanding play by Trinity Bazan. Nice bright spot.
Costly errors allowed Cleveland to get 1 run back. That one sent the ground to the left side. Throw to first in time. Throw home.
Love their hockey up there. Can we preface it with that?
Well, now it's a golf country because they're not raising any trophies in hockey.
I mean, they haven't won the Stanley Cup in a long, long time. The Stanley Cup is now a warm weather sport because they're probably pretty soon going to raise it in Nevada, and we're going to go there as well. But it was like a, they kept telling me it was like the Ryder Cup. It was JJ. It was more than like a Ryder Cup. It was. How would you explain what you saw at the Canadian Open yesterday? Around not just the playoff, but certainly around the playoff when it was. So let me set the scene for you, and then I want you to help me with context. Nick Taylor is a Canadian golfer, as JJ mentioned earlier. The Canadians have not won their national championship in 69 years, and they've got some good golfers now. They have a guy in Nick Taylor who does not have a good first round, scrambles and then puts up 3 sick rounds. And on the 4th playoff hole against Tommy Fleetwood in the rain, pours in a 72-foot eagle putt, which was the longest putt statistically of his career. And he wins it, and the place goes nuts. They storm the court, right? We always talk about in Mountain West Conference or in college basketball, is it court storming worthy, right? I mean, they stormed the 18th green. Adam Hadwin had champagne. He's a Canadian golfer, and he got tackled. Mike Weir was there. He's probably the most loved Canadian golfer, and he's going to be the captain of the President's Cup team this year. It was how would you put it in perspective? Like compare it to something.
It had a Phoenix Open vibe, just with
Oh,
the
that's
energy and the way that the fans were acting, and it was kind of like, oh, this actually matters a lot. Like a Canadian winning the Canadian Open, I think it kind of was eye-opening to a lot of people this weekend of just how meaningful and how impactful that event was, and to see the passion, the Canadian flags waving in the stands around the green when that puck goes in. And then the other golfers, just look at the reaction of Adam Hadwin, who's now famous because the security guard leveled him on the green. So Adam Hadwin, another Canadian golfer, had to pop the bottle, was spraying champagne on Taylor and his caddy. And around the edge, it was a really good move. The security guard dipped his shoulder.
He did. I'm just looking at it now.
Like getting around the left tackle, dips his shoulder, head up the entire way. So he's looking at his target and just goes right through Adam Hadwin.
How did he pick him out of everybody, by the way? Out of everybody, he picks out that dude?
He's like, oh, no. Turns the corner, dips his shoulder. Great move by the security guard. Takes him out. And what I love about it is if you're watching social media, there's a ton of great angles on this and a really good shot. But Adam Hadwin is not mad. Like he put it up. He said, oh, this is now my screensaver on my phone, a shot of him getting tackled.
That's so
just because
good.
the moment was so good.
You know, it just showed how much these things matter. I'm looking up, and there's Adam Hadwin on my screen. There was a I don't know if it was the third or the fourth. It had to be. It was on 18. So they played 18, 18, 9, and 18. Is that right? I think in the playoff. There was a shot when Tommy Fleetwood hits his drive to the left. So Nick Taylor had the first. He was up first. He had honors, and he hit his drive, and it went right. And it kind of rolled back into a divot on the last hole, and then Fleetwood hits his left, and it rolls into the rough. And the rough was pretty good, like it should be. And there was a fan there jumping around like you never see at a golf tournament. People cheer when anybody in golf hits a bad shot, right? Gets in trouble. And there was this dude, I just remember jumping around like home court advantage in freaking golf, right? And they never cheer a bad shot in golf. You always cheer unless it's Bryson, right? But this was, so it made me think, okay? And we talked a lot of golf yesterday. And by the way, we're going to talk golf at 9 o'clock. Bastian Amata Lobo, who is qualified now for the U.S. Open this week at the LA Country Club, is going to be with us at 9 o'clock, and I think you'll enjoy that. But, JJ, it made me think, Liv can't have that. Like is there going to be, where do you want to play? Why do you want to play? And everybody wants to play because this is their profession. They make money, right? Everybody, this is your living. But there's got to be something to that. And you're going to tell me you don't get that every week, and you're probably right. But you don't get that at all on something brand new at Live. Or maybe you're going to argue you get it every week because that's what the crowds are. But it's manufactured. This was so real. This was so organic. This was, to your point, Phoenix Open. And there's something about that. I think golf has made an incredible transformation. So I want you to go back. Let's just say this was 20 years ago. And it was fine, a 69-year drought. Did golf fans anywhere have that kind of party for a moment like that?
It's definitely more acceptable at certain tournaments, and it's...
I would argue it all except for the Masters.
Yeah, and it just people bringing a different level of energy to a golf tournament that you don't expect on the final day.
I think golf has become way more popular, accepted, and appreciated, where, and I'm picking an arbitrary number, and I understand that, but 20 years ago, golf was your granddad's sport, right? And now younger people are watching it on TV. Younger people are playing it. More diverse people are playing it, right? I mean, let's be honest. You'd go to a golf course 20 years ago, and it's a bunch of white people. Now it's a bunch of everybody. And I think they've done a really good job. Whoever they happens to be, I think they have done a really good job of growing their game to a point where people, I would argue I know what the soccer people would argue that their game is way more popular in our country. I'm not sure I totally would get there, but I would argue that it's the number 5 sport in our country. You think that would be totally ridiculous after NHL, NBA? College football I would consider football, but NFL, college football.
Golf is popular.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that, again, this is the perfect time for it because I think just as much as you think golf is overtaking it, there's a faction of people that it's not their game. Like with
No, that's right, 100%.
But moments like these are moments that cross all lanes. Like these are the wow moments where if you didn't watch that tournament this weekend, this is still an awesome story. Like it has that appeal.
So the live thing, you've talked so much about golf and with so many different people, and you're right. There's a ton of people who are like, yeah, whatever. I think there's also a ton of people who are like, yeah, whatever on hockey, on everything except for the NFL.
Absolutely.
Everything except for the right, everything except for the NFL. So yes, you're 100% right. I'd like to see the numbers in. I'm sure they're available, and ESPN will do them, and everybody will do them on what the most popular sports are. But it's that was in moment, boys and girls. That was a special moment, and you just feels like you're getting more of those in that game, and it was pretty cool. All right, 505-246-0610. Did a world champion really knock out a mascot? But the mascot's going to play this week. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Verizon. Ready to take control of your phone plan? Well, then you better take that next.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
International Protective
Spray. Here, you know that stuff here, like the trainers have, the magic here, spray it on, it doesn't hurt anymore stuff. So I love promotions people, JJ. Like, to me, give me good, you know, we all sit around, well, the chili races, right? The build the burger thing that I think was Fuddruckers at the ballpark, right? The relay race where here's the lettuce and the guy jumps on at the end, and the spinny bat race thing, make yourself really, like, we all watch that, right?
Yes, people clamor for a good in-game promotion.
Okay. So the Nuggets, if you've not seen nor heard, the Nuggets had Conor McGregor come out, and I'm sure he paid for this. The Heat, yes, because it wasn't the Nuggets, it was the Heat. The Heat had Conor McGregor come out with their halftime, Bernie, their mascot, during a break, during a timeout. And the gag was Bernie was dressed up in a robe, and they were going to have a little fake fight, and McGregor was going to knock him out and then spray the stuff on him. Oh, that's cute. Dude, McGregor knocked him out. Like, he threw 2 punches to this poor guy and knocked him the bleep down.
He did not pull the punches. He's like, oh, this dude has a mascot head on. I'm going to give him a full hook. With a follow-up.
With a follow-up while he was down. So he takes a full swing and drops this poor guy, hit him again when he was down, and then started spraying, and they dragged him off. And you could see all the promotions assistants out there, like, scrambling, and dude's probably just going, yeah, it knocked his head off, no? And just smiled. They drag him off. He's taken to the emergency room for treatment. And then afterwards, he said, "Yeah, no, I'm not missing a game." And Eric Spoelstra says, "Yeah, that's the Miami Heat grit. That's
Miami
what we're made about.
toughness.
That's Miami toughness."
Yeah, he went down hard.
Hard. I can't watch it enough times. And if you're watching on the simulcast on ProView Networks, you're watching it, and Adrian showing. Adrian, will you roll it again one more time?
His head's bouncing off the hardwood, like, oh, dude.
Oh, he hit him again. Like, when he's down, the dude's just, like, literally down. And look at all the promotions people scrambling. Are you okay, dude? Are you okay? No. Conor McGregor just knocked the bleep out of me. Look at it. It's boom. He stepped into it, too.
And I think why it was even more hectic, because that's during a timeout. Like, that's not halftime.
Yeah, that's right.
That's like the NBA Finals have to get going, so you got to drag this mascot off the court right now.
Oh,
whether he's concussed or not, you got to get him off the court.
Look at that one lady with the towel. And they drag him by both legs, and this dude, like, good. Everybody's like, good acting. Oh, Bernie, the guy in the Bernie suit is really good. No, it knocked him the bleep out. Yeah. Yeah. 108.95, by the way. The Nuggets are about ready to knock the Heat out. Do you think it gets done tonight?
Raising a trophy.
It should, right? Mm-hmm. It should. I'm not telling you the Heat have quit. I'm not telling you. I just
the Nuggets are like, all right, you got culture, you got it. We have that, and we have more talent.
Yeah.
Have fun with this.
Yeah, and I don't sit here and think that the Nuggets are one of the greatest teams ever. I look at them and I'm like, wow, they built it pretty well. And there's holes, right? And they're not insanely deep. Is there a major injury? Like the Heat are playing without Tyler Hero. They're playing without
No.
Who else are they playing without? Right, they're two starters down, right?
There was a moment of OMG when Jokic turned his ankle the other night.
Okay, so walk me through this. So I was watching on the phone in the cars. We were almost to our destination, and I'm like, Jokic just went out. And I'm like, what? My buddies. And I'm like, yeah, dude, he's in the locker room. Like, okay, what happened there?
He just went up for a rebound, came down, and there's a bunch of beat in the way, and he turned an ankle.
Went to the locker room, and you guys had to all be just going, oh, okay. Yeah. You don't win without Jokic, although I watched the fourth quarter where he played about 4 minutes of it.
They won without Jokic.
They won without Nikola Jokic. That was pretty stinking impressive. Yeah, it was something else. You got 15 out of Jamal Murray and a guy named Bruce Brown, 21 points. How many times is Mark Jackson going to say, what can Brown do for you?
A lot. There's 2 of them on the floor. Both making plays.
There were a couple of canned lines from really good broadcasters over the weekend. The Bam Slam that Mike Breen was holding, and I think Jim Nance is so good. And I always wonder some of the lines he comes up with.
Because he's been taking shots at Liv for the last year.
Yeah, well, that's another story. Yes.
Well,
but did you hear his call when Nick Taylor hit the 72-foot birdie and won the tournament? Did you hear what he said? Glorious and free. That one, I'm like, usually they sound so organic and so off the cuff, but that one, he was holding, right? Right. If Nick Taylor wins this, oh, Canada, glorious and free.
Yeah, this is usually, by that point in a golf tournament, someone gets up there, knocks in their 2-foot par putt, win by 2, and you're like, oh, what a great moment. That was.
Well, he's usually got some. Yeah.
Walk off eagle putt 70-footer. Let's get that emotion flowing.
But he's usually got something, right? When Tiger won the Masters a few years ago, a win for the ages, right? Which had a couple meanings to it, right? He was 40, whatever he was. And there's usually something there. Glorious and free. And you're like, all right. That was kind of rehearsed. But it was really good. All right, we're going to talk a little golf coming up at 9 o'clock this morning. Bastien Amat is qualified. Lobo just finished his junior year. He is a French golfer, but he is a Lobo. We're going to talk with him about going now. Now what? You're preparing? When are you going to L.A.? How about, have you played the course? You're playing in the freaking U.S. Open, man. A couple weeks ago, you're playing in the NCAA Championship. Well, we watched Zhang do that on the ladies' tour. He'll go out and win. Looking forward to that conversation. When we come back, a little NFL stuff. There's no way, right? He sits out the year. He's one of the best running backs in the league. There's a way. It's the opening drive. Jeff, JJ, and DC. Merry Monday. Glad you're with us on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental
AM with three-time New Mexico Sportscaster of the Year, Jeff Symbieta, and JJ Buck.
Well, the NFL is going to take over here in a minute. NBA Finals ends tonight or later this week or whenever it ends. Stanley Cup Final may end tomorrow. By the way, they're ready to make Vegas the hockey capital of the continent. And then everything there's baseball. The U.S. Opens this week, but everything starts funneling towards the National Football League. And you start thinking about your fantasy draft and your bets, and that's how it is. Good morning to you. Merry Monday. Welcome to the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal. Jeff Symbieta and JJ Buck. JJ, would you still consider Saquon Barkley as one of the best running backs in the National Football League?
I would.
I
would absolutely put Saquon Barkley in there because I appreciate how he returned and how he played off an injury.
A lot of injury issues over his first few years in the NFL. He did have a good season last year, and now he wants to get paid. And he had 1,312 yards last season, fourth in the National Football League. By the way, the most for a Giants running back since Tiki Barber back in 2006. He had over 1,600, almost 1,700 yards from scrimmage. Good for seventh in the league. And he's talked with the Giants throughout the offseason. He said he wants a deal that's fair. We all want a deal that's fair. We have had countless conversations about the value of running back and where this league values a running back. And I don't know, have you seen any numbers as far as, so right now he has been franchise tagged by the Giants. That means he will get, is it somewhere in the area of $10 million?
Believe so.
Okay. What is Saquon Barkley? Okay, when he says, I want a fair deal, and I appreciate him saying this, quote, I see the market. I'm aware of that. I feel like I'm more than that. I feel like we finally got to a place where we're successful. And JJ, he went on to say, I'm not looking to reset the market. Okay. I appreciate that. I actually, not every guy is going to say that, right? He says, I'm not looking to set any contract records. I'm not demanding to be the highest paid player at my position. I understand the market. My goal is just to be compensated respectfully based on my contributions to the team on the field and in the locker room. I've been in talks with the Giants throughout the offseason. If at some point there's a deal that is fair to be on both sides of the table, I'll be ready to sign, end quote. What's fair?
Well, it would sound like what's fair was the initial contract offer from the Giants that would have been around $14 million per season for Saquon Barkley, because that would have put him as the third highest in terms of annual average value, because right now it is Christian McCaffrey and then Alvin Kamara at $16 and $15 million that are leading the way. And if you're in New York Giants, I think you continue around that area. I think he's 26 years old. I think if you look at the guarantees, maybe 2 to 3 years up it for him, because this is one of those teams. As much as we talk about running backs, and they are interchangeable pieces, but the Giants need more from that position, because Daniel Jones was good. He's not that dude that's going to elevate everyone to be that much better offensively. So they are a team that needs a piece like this. It's just like San Francisco needs extra at that position. Some teams do need a little bit more from the running back, and the Giants are absolutely one of those teams.
Did you tell me $14 million?
Yes.
And
that's what the reports were of the initial offer.
And he turned it down?
And he turned it down.
Is it still on the table?
I have to believe it could be.
All right, then I'm struggling with, I want to be fairly compensated. I'm not looking to set any contract records. The highest paid player at that position is 16, and then there's one guy more than it.
We know what this comes down to. And
Is it guaranteed money?
All these conversations, it's guaranteed money on the contract.
Okay.
So that's probably the number we don't know, because when we look at annual average value, things like that, you're like, well, that wouldn't make you the highest paid. It would make you the third highest paid.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it comes down
How
to
many years was that offer? Does it say? Because to your point, I mean, it could be a 100-year contract. It doesn't matter. Nothing's guaranteed, right? So I think when it comes down to it, how much was up front, how much guaranteed money, and we know that when we hear contracts are worth X number of hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever, it's not what's the guaranteed money. We just watched Dalvin Cook get waived the other day, right?
Yes, we
so
did.
it doesn't matter the big number. And that so you think that's what the holdup? You think in
absolutely.
principle,
That's
14.
what, as we've learned with any of these contracts, that's what it comes down to: is what's the number that these players can push the guaranteed amount to? Because yearly, hourly, that's all cool. That's fine and dandy, as you said. But if it's not guaranteed, then it doesn't matter.
Okay. All right.
I
want to watch this.
I was looking around, and on Sunday, Barkley actually came out and talked with Andrew Crane of the New York Post. He came out and said they can say what they want, we can say what we want. He's basically saying that the Giants have been leaking all of this, and those offers were not legit.
Is that right?
That is correct. That's on Pro Football Talk right now.
So he said this weekend, he says at the end of the day, it's all about respect. That's really what it is. That was his quote. When he was asked, would he sit out the season? And he said that's come up in conversation, and it's all about respect. I don't know, man, and I want to see the details on the contract. At $14 million, I think they're showing respect. Okay, how long has he been in the league? Is it 3 years or 4 years? Because it feels like, and I gotta. Okay, how many has he been healthy? Or more so, how many? Right, he's been available less than half the time.
And this is the battle for the running back position, because these guys have to do this, because the salaries for running backs, for the amount of what they do, it's minuscule in the grand scheme of things. For the amount of touches, it's a lot of times who's touching the football more than the center and the quarterback. Well, it's your running back.
Yeah.
And now we see that, there's so many of them, they're interchangeable. So when you do have the top names, as frustrating as it can be, and it's here we go again, player wants X amount of money, it's what these guys have to do. It's what Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, just for the health of the position, they have to play this game and try to hold out for as much as possible, just so that next franchise tag, instead of $10 million for the next time, maybe it's $12 million in salaries.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I do. And I think he is really, really good. But I think he's also got to realize he's made whatever he's made. Now, I mean, he got hurt playing football, right? It's hard for me to sit here and say he hasn't been available, but he hasn't. What was his big injury? Was it an ACL? He had 2, right? There's been 2 injuries that have kept him out. I get the Giants' point, man. And if they, DC, to your point, if they offered him $14 million, and I'm going to guess it would be somewhere in the area of, and I'm guessing now, right? But I'm guessing based on what I know. Let's just say it was in the area of would it be about a 4-year deal?
That would be fair for both sides.
All right, so probably $56-ish million. And so you'd want, I don't know, he'd want it all guaranteed, but what would you say? Here's 35 guaranteed?
And that would be the most money guaranteed ever, well, not ever, but ever, I think it would be ever, to a running back.
All right, so now I don't know that that's what was on the table, but you can't sit here and tell me that I'm not looking to set the market, and it's all about respect if, in fact, that's on the table.
Yeah, and this is one where if you're the Giants, just guarantee a smaller contract. Like if you don't, like Saquon Barkley with his injury history is going to be 27 years old. Like you don't have the highest paid quarterback in the world. You were able to get Daniel Jones on what is now a fair quarterback contract. This is the time where you need to invest a little bit more. And Saquon Barkley, if you shorter deal, maybe it's a little bit more guaranteed money. Like this is the time to take that hit. This is the time to go in because Daniel Jones needs Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones needs guys to elevate him because last year he showed, he can be a solid, a confident quarterback that won a playoff game in the NFL. But Daniel Jones, like a lot of guys at that level, is not going to get by with average players around him.
Are they on the uptick, or that was that a one-hit wonder last year?
They feel like they're on the uptick, Brian.
Oh, I know they do. I know they do.
Discovered Daniel Jones. They have pieces on the defense that they are paying a high amount of money. Like,
do they have enough
time to slightly, I guess you'd say, overpay Saquon Barkley? I'd say, all right, here's a shorter deal, but we'll guarantee a larger chunk of money. Let's go.
Do they have enough weapons? So Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Wendell Robinson, Sterling Shepard. That's the receivers.
They got a kid out of Tennessee, I think in the second round.
Jalen Hyatt.
Darren Waller.
Yeah, they did get Darren Waller. They did go out and get a tight end.
And so this is the time where you need to figure this out with Saquon.
Because you feel like you can make a run. And it's a prove-it year for Daniel Jones.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, they were prove-it. They won a playoff game on the road last year. I mean, they went to Minnesota and beat a division champion on the road. Yeah, they're a playoff team. But I wonder, is it a one-hit wonder playoff team or is it something real? All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. That's how to get to us today. Look at that. You got a lot of – look at you all on Monday morning. People were in early this morning before we went on the air throwing me all kinds of stuff. All right, we'll get what you have to say, get you through all of that stuff through the text line. 9 o'clock this morning, Bastion Amat's going to be with us, Lobo Jr., who just finished his junior year, who qualified for the U.S. Open this week. We're going to talk to him. When we come back, you think he's washed up. Is Ryan Tannehill the best quarterback on that team? The answer, next. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Free Taco Bell breakfast? Yes.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Are always fun, right? You go through the NFL and you're like, well, what's this one going to be like, and who's going to be the quarterback here? And I think there's a lot of focus. I saw a big feature this weekend on the 49ers and who's going to be their deal. It sounds like Sam Darnold, by the way, is at early in their minicamp outperforming Trey Lance. Is that what you're hearing out of San Francisco?
Trey, what could have been?
Could it have ever been?
Maybe he didn't break his ankle.
Boy, they loved him. Is he going to have an NFL career?
Yes, but not as a starting quarterback.
So he's going to be Blaine Gabbert?
Blaine Gabbert went to an AFC Championship game, so he's not going to be Blaine Gabbert.
All right, he's going to be...
I think he might get one more chance to be a backup somewhere.
That's
but
my
he's probably
point.
going to fade away. So that an extended NFL career for Trey Lance at this point in time, no. And for the San Francisco 49ers, for them to swing for the fences, miss with the draft capital that was involved in Trey Lance, and we're still here like without a quarterback, that's the second best team in the NFC. My goodness, that's unbelievable.
Yes. And if, in fact, it ends up being the swing and a miss that it's pointed towards, I'm not sure I'm there yet. So I was never all in on Trey Lance. I just never saw enough, right? I didn't know. And so we all went in. You got to remember the timing on Trey Lance. So he came out of North Dakota State, the same place where Carson Wentz came from, and smaller but athletic. And this was when Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes still is, but it was that, you can make it with that smaller, quicker, athletic quarterback, right? And they played during COVID. They played like one spring game or something, didn't they? Right, just to showcase him. Like they canceled their season. And because FCS, if you recall, did not play during COVID in 2020. And so there were teams that were playing like spring season. Remember, New Mexico State played a couple of games in March or something. I mean, that's kind of what North Dakota State did. They played one game to showcase their quarterback, and the 49ers just flat out went gaga over him and fell in love and traded all their draft capital and traded up and were getting rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, and this was going to be their guy. Then he got hurt. Did he not play the first year behind Garoppolo? He got hurt, but then they handed him the reins and he got hurt in the first game, broke his ankle, and they had Jimmy Garoppolo as a backup. It was the first game, but and then Garoppolo got hurt, and then Brock Purdy happened. But this is one of those where for a franchise that is so good at evaluating, right? So good. It does feel like a gigantic corkscrew swing and a miss.
Well, it's a swing and a miss because of injury. But it'd feel like at this point in time, if he had something, then he could elevate himself to being the number one at this point in time, early in camp.
Well, above Sam Darnold.
Above Sam Darnold. And I know they love Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy, if he is healthy and throwing like they anticipate to him by training camp, Trey Lance is going to be the number 3 because it's going to be Purdy, Darnold, Lance.
So this is crazy. And actually, it's on track to being one of the most unbelievable NFL quarterback stories ever. So if Purdy, I'm going to give you 2 ifs. If Purdy becomes what they think he's going to be, right, and they love him and they should love him because he was so good, if he becomes a top 10 NFL quarterback, not of all time, but, of current time, and JJ, I know that's a big swing, but if this guy comes back and he was undefeated until he went down in the playoffs, right? He had not the only game he's lost that he started was the NFC Championship game where he got hurt. Is that correct?
Where he could not throw a football.
He couldn't lift his arm. Remember, they were bringing out Christian McCaffrey to take snaps because they didn't have a quarterback who could throw. Okay? That's the only game he's ever lost. If he becomes a guy who makes them perennial winners, does that nullify them swinging and missing on Trey Lance? It does, right? Yes. And or if Sam Darnold becomes that guy in San Francisco after swinging and missing in 2 other places, that says, all right, you know what? You missed on that one. Blatant swing and a miss, but you were able to swing it and come and turn it around.
Because it was Lance at that point was, we think he has the highest ceiling. Like, and that was because it came down to all the conversation for San Francisco in that draft.
Who else was in that draft?
A lot of people are thinking that would be Mac Jones. Would Mac Jones be more the style Kyle Shanahan with what he's worked with? You think about Kirk Cousins, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mac Jones, and I think we see Mac Jones as kind of just one of those guys. Like, he got rookie, went to the playoffs with New England Patriots, put some things around him, maybe he'll have something, versus looking at a Trey Lance with his athleticism and thinking that there's a higher ceiling, maybe in the run game, more explosive plays. And so you take that chance, but it's also, for as big of a miss it is, they've hit on everything else.
Wasn't Jalen Hurts in that draft?
Double check.
Didn't he go second round in that draft? Who was number 1 overall in that draft? Was that Tua?
No.
That wasn't the Tua. So Mac Jones.
Well, because the Tua draft was Joe Burrow, Herbert.
Okay. Who else was with Mac Jones in that draft? Who was the number 1 quarterback in that draft? Now that I think back at it. It's kind of crazy, though, when you look at what they're doing there. All right. So meanwhile, the other quarterback situation that I was looking at this weekend, and I know you were too.
It's what's going on. Real quick, it was Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, then Mac Jones.
All right. Well, you didn't have a shot at Trevor Wilson because he went 1. Zach Wilson went 2 anyway. So this is what fell to you. It was. And you traded up to get him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd they draft Trey Lance? 3? 4. 3. So 1, 2, 3 was Lawrence, Wilson, and Trey Lance. And then where did Mac Jones go? Like 17, 16?
15.
15. That's like 17 or 16. And then second round was Jalen Hurts, right?
Hurts was 2020, right?
Okay.
He was a 53rd pick in 2020.
And this, what year was this?
So
2021. Yeah, this is 2021. Okay. All right. So the other one we're looking at is what's going on in Tennessee. JJ, when Turn Davenport, the ESPN reporter, says, quote, Ryan Tannehill is head and shoulders above the other two guys there, Malik Willis and Will Levis. And you told me he's done, right? You just flat out said the other day he's done. I'm not sure I think that's right, but I don't know that I think he's enough to get them where they want to go. They got a problem in Tennessee, don't they?
Well, here's the thing. Ryan Tannehill should be better than a rookie quarterback at this point in time. But the fact that it's here we go again with the Titans, we take Will Levis in the second round, a year after taking Malik Willis in the third round, and these guys are not showing anything like that. This is where Ryan Tannehill should be. The veteran guys should be the best in OTAs and looking good early. But it's almost like, well, what are you doing? This just screams kind of San Francisco, like all those years where they were just trying to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, if this dude is going to be the best player, if you're not investing in first-round pick, why aren't you just riding it out with him? Why are you just bringing in all these young guys that obviously not making a mark yet?
Where'd they get Will Levis? Second round? Yeah. I look at it, and I don't think he's horrible. And I thought he was serviceable. I love that the guy redefined his career when he went there. He's taken him to the AFC Championship games. He's been an above average. Like, I know Kirk Cousins is considered way better. Wouldn't you argue that he's been better than Kirk Cousins over the last 5 years? I know his numbers aren't. You got to define what better is. And better isn't just about your individual numbers. Who's freaking been winning? Now, Kirk Cousins won a division last year. They lost the first round of the playoffs. But, I mean, he's been in that echelon. And I know what he did in that playoff game when they were the number one seed, and he had 5 turnovers, and then last year he took a decline. I don't think he's great, but JJ, yeah, he should be better than rookies, but not head and shoulders above guys that are coming in to be the next guy. He shouldn't be head and shoulders above a guy like Will Levis. He shouldn't be. And to your point, if they see the decline, if they see where they are, and they saw what happened last year, and they still think that their window's open, you're right. They needed to be more aggressive and invest a first-round pick and move up and do something. 100%. Because I think that roster is decent. You still got one of them.
In Tennessee, Ryan Tannehill is 36-19. Just 6-6
good.
last year, dealt with injury. But that's coming off 11-5 and 12-5 seasons.
That's my point. That's all. Now, did he decline last year? I mean, he was injured. But they're going to tell you, no, he's good, he's great, and he's ready to go, and he's going to be our guy. They got problems.
Yeah, this isn't where you want to be in the NFL. It's either go all in on your future, like take a shot, get someone in the first round, go after one of those quarterbacks,
or don't,
or
the other way,
build around and be successful. Because if you're the Tennessee Titans, you're looking at the vision and you're saying, all right, Jacksonville figured it out. They pulled their heads out. They got rid of Urban Meyer. They got a real live NFL coach to maximize Trevor Lawrence. Like, the future is bright in Jacksonville. But right now, there's just what ifs in Houston, in Indianapolis. First year, high profile, high picked quarterbacks. This is still your time, if you're Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans, to try to compete for that division. And it doesn't look like Tennessee knows what the heck they're doing right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. All right, 505-246-0610. Come on in. Bastien Amat's going to be with us coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, the Lobo golfer who is qualified for the U.S. Open. When we come back, I'm going to read you your correspondence. I want to hear from you this morning. Do the Nuggets get it done tonight? When we come back, why the Nuggets get it done tonight? It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
ATAR and gravel roof absorbs heat. TPO reflects it. Rocky Mountain.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties.
Opening drive here at 95.9 FM, AM 610, The Sports Animal. Game 5 of the NBA Finals tonight. Nuggets and Heat. Can Denver get it done? What say you out there? We'll get to your correspondence here in a second. JJ Buck, Jeff Symbieta, DC with you on a Monday. Jeff on location, getting him back in here in just 1 second. The thing that stands out to me about these NBA Finals, and I thought it would be tighter in this series. I wanted to give the Miami Heat a ton of credit. They deserve it, of how they got to this moment, of how the Heat culture, the all that stuff, grind, overcoming the injuries, Tyler Hero not being in the rotation. And yet here we are. But the Nuggets have answered. And they've shown that they're a team that has the character, that has the culture, that has the way the bench has performed. Bruce Brown in that fourth quarter, 2 games with Aaron Gordon stepping up big time. How about leading the way with 27 points in game 4? They go down to Miami and win 2 games in the NBA Finals. It's unbelievable. Now the Nuggets back home. They have the ice. The trophy will be in the building. But also you take a step back and go, all right, how do the Heat get back in this series? Because they have preached all playoffs long, even when they're ahead. They tried to play that they were the team behind, that this is where they like to be. No one likes to be in this hole. No one likes to be in a deficit. Now, their mindset, it works for the Miami Heat. But this is a different beast. For as good as the teams were that the Heat beat to get to this point, the more talented teams, and talent does not always equal victory. That's clearly evident by the Eastern Conference Finals. The Boston Celtics were the more talented team, and they did that by overcoming their 3-0 deficit, but ultimately losing in Game 7 to the better team. Well, now, all of a sudden, you have the talent plus the whatever you want to quantify it as, the ethic, the grit, the grind, in the Denver Nuggets, and they're able to match the Miami Heat, bounce back, respawn, because there's been so many little moments in this series. And when you're breaking down playoff runs, championship series, it's multiple players and it's multiple moments. And Jeff brought up earlier, he felt almost that is Aaron Gordon. Has he been the second most important player in this series? He's had 2 outstanding offensive games. And if you look at the consistency of his defense, matching up with Jimmy Butler, and when you look at Aaron Gordon as a primary defender when it comes to defending Heat players, in Game 4, they shot just 30% on Aaron Gordon. And then Jamal Murray, 10-plus assists in each playoff game, in each NBA Finals game. 2 games where he wasn't the electric scorer, but he's a facilitator. And then that's how you're on the brink of winning an NBA championship, is with performances like that. And this is one where the Nuggets, because of the MVP storyline with Nikola Jokic, and Michael Malone has brought it up, it felt this weird attack on one of the best players in the NBA. And Jokic was like, whatever, I'm done with this. I don't need to hear it. It was a weird stuff from Kendrick Perkins saying it was about race. Jokic isn't really that good. Look at his defense. And yet you have this story where it's homegrown talent. It's 2 superstars that were drafted that have stayed in Denver. It's a team that is built around their superstars. It's dudes that aren't, hey, look at me all the time. And it feels like this should absolutely be something that's embraced. And it took everyone a long time to get to this point and be like, oh, you know what? This Denver Nuggets team is a fantastic story for the league. (505-246-0610). That is the 377 Brewery hotline. That is also the Sports Animal text line this morning as we're working to get Symbieta back. Just not hearing him right now as he's trying to get his thoughts in on the NBA Finals. But that's the thing, too, with what we're seeing with Jokic and Murray and everything that's going down in the NBA Finals. It was a great run by Miami, and they're going to tell you it's not over. And Michael Malone tried to set that tone immediately after winning Game 4 in Miami is the Nuggets haven't done anything yet. And this is a Denver team that, if you think back to the bubble and the experience that they went through, they were the team that in 2 postseason series, to the Utah Jazz and to the Los Angeles Clippers, they trailed 3-1 in those series, and they won both those series. So Denver has been in this position where they know that it is entirely possible to come back, to dig yourself out of a hole and get the job done. And I'm fascinated because I still feel it. Even when we've seen the Miami Heat down double digits, like there's another run coming. There's another push. I think at least one supernova game from Jimmy Butler. And hopefully we get ourselves an enjoyable Game 5 tonight in Denver. Nuggets up 3-1 in the NBA Finals. 505-246-0610. That is 377 Brewery Hotline, the Sports Animal text line. As we'll come back after this. It's opening drive here on 95.9 FM, AM 610, the Sports Animal.
This report is sponsored by eBay Motors.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say
known for safety and security. You understand that property crime is on the rise, that officer shortage has been an issue, and Aaron Jones started IPS back in 2006 to try to help with that. IPS is a business that protects homes and businesses. It's private security, affordable private security, and it's a security company I've used for years. I know you see them all around town. So right now they're looking for some help. If you are a former or retired police officer, if you've got military or security experience, and you want to make our city a better place to live and to work, you're encouraged to fill out an application at ipsglobal.com. You will work for a wonderful company that is doing great things in our community. They've got world-class professionals to train you to handle almost any situation. Join IPS's team. Give them a call at 505-897-2420. That's 505-897-2420. Or go online and fill out an application at ipsglobal.com. IPS, making Albuquerque a better place to live and work. Sorry about that last segment. I had a little disconnect issue. But, JJ, you were saying something, and I wanted to, and I could hear you, and my lips were moving. You said, and I think it was Kendrick Perkins who said, Nikola Jokic was an underappreciated superstar. I think underappreciated was the word you used, and you mentioned a lot of reasons, whether it was race or infamiliarity or whatever. Why do you think? I've got my thoughts, but why do you think Nikola Jokic had to really prove himself in these playoffs to people?
For people, you're not great unless you win a championship. And that's kind of where we've gotten to as sports talking heads. And it's like, you can't be one of the greatest. We can't give you 3 MVPs if you do not have one championship. But it's also, every great player has to go through this. Every great player has to go through their greatness being not just scrutinized, but questioned. Is this person really that good? Is this person deserved of this? Because people get tired of greatness. People get tired of someone winning. And you have a player in Nikola Jokic that is dominating the NBA. And part of it, too, is people fall victim to this stereotype game. And he doesn't look like this. He doesn't look like that. There's no way he can be that good if he's not jumping from the free throw line, slamming it down like Giannis, or being as explosive as Joel Embiid. And it's a process. Like, every great has to go through being villainized in sport. And a lot of that, too, it comes down to championships, with us having to rank everything and say this person is better than that person because they've won 3 championships and this person has only won 1 championship. And that was a lot for Jokic this season. We already gave this guy 2 MVPs, even though his numbers this year are better and he's playing better on both ends of the floor than he did those last years. There's no way they can do that again.
All right, so let me ask you this. Is because the first name you brought up is the one I was going to. Is Joel Embiid considered great?
Yeah.
Not by you or me, by the general populace, the people, the basketball people who didn't consider Nikola Jokic great. Was Joel Embiid considered great?
Yes.
Is Damian Lillard considered to be great?
Yeah, those guys have no belief about them.
I don't know that there's many others. Jason Tatum?
Yeah. That's MVP caliber player, first team.
Chris
guy.
Paul? Devin Booker? Paul George? See, I think you're onto something. And I think most of the guys I just told you, before these playoffs, and maybe even before this series, if you'd have asked the majority of basketball people, meaning the people who have microphones, shows, podcasts, think they know. And we all think we know. We don't know crap. Most of those names would have been before Nikola Jokic when people would have ranked the best players in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they wouldn't, correct? None of those. Well, maybe some people still put Embiid there, right? Maybe. But to your point, there was this, almost you had to validate, somehow justify, somehow, and this is not an exaggeration. But you and I both heard people screaming that basically Nikola Jokic stole Joel Embiid's MVPs, right? Over those 2 years. And that's why Joel Embiid got it this year, and he deserved it. He should have had it before. And so I'm going to go two other places with you, okay, on why Jokic wasn't getting the love. One of them is it's just in familiarity, okay? Nobody knew who Jamal Murray is either, by the way. Nobody knows who De'Aaron Fox is. You know why? Because nobody watches the Sacramento Kings. Nobody watches the Denver Nuggets. Now, next year, the Denver Nuggets are going to be all over the national broadcasts. They're going to be all over TNT. They're going to be all over ESPN's, the national broadcast during the week, because they're, I believe, going to be the defending champions. You brought up the race thing too, right?
Well, Kendrick Perkins played that card on
100%.
national TV and then tried to walk it back down the stretch.
What did he say? Because I'm not
I'll
familiar.
get you the exact quote on it.
All right. So, but you said, and I've said this too, he doesn't look the part. He doesn't look the part. He doesn't look like the rest of basketball players. He's not jumping from the free throw line. And I believe that's part of it too. He just flat out look. It's natural. You go out if you play at the Y, okay? It's the whole white men can't jump thing. If you go play a pickup game, you look at a guy, say, I got that guy. It's my Steve Kerr story, isn't it?
Yeah, so Kendrick Perkins, he alleged that this came back in March, the height of the MVP conversation, that voters had a racial bias against black players. And thus, that's why Steve Nash got multiple MVPs, Jokic back-to-back MVPs, and then that's a narrative that took off after that.
How many Caucasian MVPs have there been in the last 20 years, 30 years, 20 years? That's a tough statement, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
That's a tough statement. I would argue that the other way.
It's things like that came up for Jokic and the Nuggets this year, and I'll go back to because he had 2 MVPs but not one championship yet. Something's got to be wrong. Like, no, this can't be right. There's a bias or there's an angle that this dude really isn't that good, and somehow all the NBA voters messed it up by giving him an MVP twice. And yet you're sitting here going like, this is a fantastic story. Like, this is just a good dude that went from a second round pick, kind of lengthy, out of shape, talented guy, to now someone that can play 40 plus minutes in the playoffs, game in and game out. That's leading his team, that doesn't want the hype, that anytime you ask him who the best player in the Nuggets is, he'll say, hey, it's Jamal Murray. And then what about Jamal Murray overcoming an ACL injury, the Nuggets staying with him, staying course, and being back here? This is a sports story that it's fantastic. And there's nothing wrong with Jokic having 2 MVPs because he's that freaking good. And you're seeing it now. And all those people that were saying, oh, this dude can't have because he hasn't won a championship, and that they're sitting there seeing him post a triple-double in the playoffs and about to win an NBA championship. Oof.
Well, I think it's just quieted it. All these people, because and JJ, if you don't know it, it can't be very good, right? If I don't see it, I don't watch the damn Denver Nuggets. How could he be that good? And to your point, they didn't win championships, so he didn't validate it, right?
It's crazy that you even have to have this conversation.
100%, yes. But it was a loud conversation that he was stealing Joel Embiid's championships. But now, have you heard anybody complain about him winning the MVP in the last month?
Wait a second.
All those same damn people are going, wow, he's the greatest player in the world. Whoa, yeah, damn right. And by the way, he's been that guy for the last 4 years. But you didn't care to watch it because you're freaking lazy. That's what the national media's been, lazy. Now we're going to play the race card on it? Well, I mean, he gets, because he's Caucasian, he gets the votes. The media's, stop it. Bastien Amat's going to be with us next. Lobo golfer who qualified to play in this week's U.S. Open. How he got in, what's his story? You're going to like this. It's coming up next on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, The Sports Animal.
I'm JB Long. We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers. We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Securities is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle...
With you this morning. You with us, Jeff? You got us? Can you hear us? Just trying to get in because we got a big guest coming up. A Lobo, a qualifier for the U.S. Open, and this.
Did you see? You see how it all played out? It was there's 156 spots right available, and this is a true Open, and there's qualifiers around the country, and Lobo Bastion Amat, who just finished his junior season, was the first alternate coming out of Tacoma. And as things played out over the week and the weekend, and we realized that there wasn't going to be a new qualifier filling a spot out of the Canadian Open, a couple of spots opened up, and Bastion Amat is going to LA Country Club and playing in the U.S. Open. And Bastion Amat joins us this morning on the opening drive. Good morning, Bastion. How you feeling?
Good morning. I'm feeling good.
I'll bet you are. Congratulations, man. How was the weight had to be, as Tom Petty said, the hardest part, I'm going to imagine.
Yeah, the weight was very stressful because, well, starting like the weight right after the round, obviously I was done. I was really proud with my second round. Very good comeback. But I saw that it was still not enough to get a direct spot. And then it was really tough because nobody was really sure of what I could actually do as a first alternate. And then through a bunch of emails and calls, I finally learned that I could actually go to LA and do a few practice rounds anyway, even if I don't get in the field. And so then I took the decision of staying down in San Diego with my girlfriend, and then drive up to LA yesterday and head to the practice rounds, and then got a call actually 2 days ago saying that I was in. So that was obviously awesome. Cool.
So when you got the call, who calls you at that point, and where were you, and how did that go? Because that had to be just one of those moments where all that work, right, and all the uncertainty, knowing that. How did that go down?
So I was actually driving up to the beach after practice to go relax in the evening around like 5 p.m. And then I get a random text from the player services director, Robbie. And he texts me saying, can we have a call? And then I just kind of had that thought of, usually when the player service calls you, it's for that kind of information.
Yeah.
But I obviously wasn't sure. And then I took the call and he told me the good news, and it was awesome.
That's so cool. And it's just so cool. Bastion Amat, Lobo just finished his junior season. Dude, you're playing in the U.S. Open. Like you're going to be playing with the big dogs. I know you've probably let your mind race. How do you control that whole thing? I mean, what's your mind process been over the last couple of days? I've talked to some people who know you really well. I know Coach Milliken's really fired up, and he's going to be there watching you play. Like, how have you processed this whole thing?
So I'm not going to lie, it was really, really stressful because of the many, many calls I had to have with player service, with my family too, that was like trying to decide whether to come or not, because at the time that I wasn't sure if I was going to play, they didn't know if it was worth coming. So it was stressful, but then I just kind of had to take it as if I was playing, so that the news was not too shocking. And then be ready, obviously, in case of play. So I found a place to practice at in San Diego. Played for 4 days before the tournaments. Played 18 holes every day. Great conditions. So I think that helped relieving the stress because I was just preparing like any other tournament. So that was really cool for sure. Yeah.
Lobo senior to be, Bastien Amat, is with us. He's going to play in the U.S. Open this Thursday. He'll tee off at LA Country Club.
Bastien, when did you start playing the game of golf as a kid? What got you interested in it?
So that was actually really early in my life because my dad is a golf instructor back in France. So I actually played golf. I started playing golf when I was 1.5 years old, which was obviously really early. And then I just kept going on. And around 9 years old, I had a 1-year break to play soccer, which is very popular in France. But I started playing soccer, and then I just decided that I was made for golf more than soccer. So I just kept grinding and working my hours.
Well, obviously,
on the ranch and stuff,
right?
and
You're showing them you're an athlete.
Pretty good.
You're showing everyone that you are definitely an athlete out there on the golf course. And, as you're growing your game and you're winning in France, what drew you to wanting to come play collegiately in the United States, and then ultimately, how did you wind up in Albuquerque, New Mexico as a Lobo?
So I actually played one of the elite under 16 tournaments back in Europe, which is called the Boys Amateur, which was held in Northern Ireland at the time, Portrush, so an open course. And then Coach Milliken ended up coming down there to watch just because of how many good players come out of Europe. And I guess it all worked out fine because he ended up seeing me over there, which was obviously great, So yeah, that's how it worked out. And then it was the best opportunity for me, obviously. So it was cool. Yeah.
Bastien Amat's with us for a few more minutes. Lobo just finished his junior season, qualified, and will play on Thursday in the U.S. Open. This program has been really, really quality over the years, and what Glenn's been able to do to keep great golfers from all around the world. Talk a little bit about what you've learned as a golfer and as a man, how you've grown playing for Glenn and playing at the University of New Mexico, because the consistency of this program and watching the guys that come through here is really impressive.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, I think it's awesome. Especially this year, I felt like we as a team really grew up. We learned a lot from each other, which is obviously a great thing to do when you're such a good player, because you think you can do things, but you always have things to learn. So, yeah, it's great. And then we also had the advantage of having multiple really good players come in New Mexico, which I was actually going to mention. I'm going to do the practice round today with one of them, Victor Perez. So that's going to be for sure really awesome time and good experience for me.
And Victor's top 40 in the world. Yeah, he's a former Lobo who's top 40 in the world, who's playing so well right now, who's also going to be in the Open. And watching Carson Heron, I guess, was really close to qualifying for the U.S. Open as well. One of your teammates.
Oh, yeah. While I was playing, but we actually had a stop at my qualifier. My section actually had a stop in the middle of the 218 holes. So I grabbed my phone and watched the results from the other sites, and I saw that Carson was in at some point, and it was really exciting to see. So it also gave me some juice to try to get it done and go it with my dude, So it was good motivation.
It's so cool. It's so cool. A few more minutes. Bastien Amat's with us this morning, a Lobo golfer, and you can watch him at the U.S. Open on Thursday at the LA Country Club.
Well, Bastien, when you hear that people are going to be watching you at the U.S. Open, what do you watch when it comes to major tournaments, or when you have time? Are you tuning in to seeing what these guys are doing, or seeing Nick Taylor hit a 72-foot eagle putt to win the RBC Canadian Open? Do you put yourself hey, I'm going to be one of those guys on TV?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think I want to prove that I'm mature enough to be competing with these guys and actually have a chance. I don't want to just have a chance to go out there and play golf. I want to show that I'm able to compete with those big time athlete, So it's gonna be for sure a good test and a good chance to show that I belong to that stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe what's there 18 amateurs, if I'm not mistaken, in the 156 person field, and you know there's stories all the time, Bastian, about guys who were one of the last ones to get in, and he did something great. Is there someone you want to play with? And you know now that you're gonna be on the range with all these dudes, all the best in the world, is there somebody you want to meet, talk to, watch? I mean, how do you want to play this thing?
Everyone, and at that stage, everyone is interesting to talk to and be around. So I obviously want to be around everyone. I obviously want to be. That's why I find a way to set up with Victor Perez, because for me he's some sort of inspiration just because he's from my home country, and I feel like it's really inspiring to have someone that relates to you, but especially that he went to the same college as me. So it's like even more relatable. So obviously, I really look forward to have a practice run with him today and hopefully get some talks. But then, like anyone that would be willing to share some time with me would be really enriching, probably. Yeah.
Here's something that I think is really underrated, right? So when you play college golf, you're carrying your own bag, you're walking around. Now you have a caddy. Who's your caddy? How did you decide who your caddy is? What's your relationship with your caddy going playing in one of?
So I'm actually gonna be caddied by the same guy who helped me go through the Seattle stage, Jeffrey Bishop. He's a good friend of mine, and we've been getting along very good lately. Awesome. I think it's a great match.
How much do you rely on a caddy?
It worked out well, so yeah.
Basha, how much do you rely on a caddy? I mean, when you're out there, it's really all you. I know a coach is, and Glenn was with us a few weeks ago, and he talks about he's able to help you, but he's not there for every hole. So in something like this, in the qualifier, how much do you rely on and trust a caddy?
I would say that I rely mostly in like very confusing or stressful situations. So, for example, if I'm like on the lead of a tournament in college, or that I'm like or at the opposite, if I'm in a really bad situation that I'm starting to play bad or something, then I really like having a support, that I can rely on, that doesn't have that factor of emotion. Because I'm a very emotional guy. I sort of get mad fast, but I also get very happy fast, stressed, etc. So it's always nice to have a sort of neutral entity to have around you that can help you get through these moments better, So that's the moment that I rely the most on a caddy.
No, that's good, and you realize what it is you need and who you rely on. Hey, man, this is so cool, and we'll be watching. I'm with a good buddy here that's headed out to watch you on Thursday play. You and Victor and just the story's great. Best of luck to you. You're living your life, man, and you're playing in the U.S. Open. You're going to the beach to relax, headed up to L.A. Country Club. You're going to love it up there. Go kill it, Bastian. We're rooting for you. Appreciate you spending a few minutes with us. Congratulations on getting there, and best of luck this week.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good
Be
time.
well. Bastian Amat. So the whole process, and I know people heard that Bastian got in, but he was the number one alternate coming out of that, JJ. So he had to wait because the U.S. Open had to hold a few spots in case there were some qualifiers coming out of the Canadian Open this week that would have got automatic. So when there wasn't, they went to the first alternates, and that's how he's like one of the last guys in the tournament.
It's crazy, and here he is going to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, he's going to be standing. I when I hear these stories of guys like that do this, and you're on the range with, they used to tell me there's Tiger Woods and there's Phil, and now here's Jason Day and there's Scotty Scheffler and there's Rory. And my favorite answer what he just said was when I asked him who is it you want to talk to? All of them.
Yeah, everyone.
It's so good. All right, I'm going to reset you at the top. If you've got a response to that, please get in at 505-246-0610. That was so good. 505-246-0610 is the 377 Brewery hotline. It is also your text line. Your emails come in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com on the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 610, the Sports Animal.
Telling it like it is. The floor in the AFC.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
For your business or your home, Valley Fence stands alone. We're number 1 in New Mexico for a reason. It's the best fence you can own. Proudly serving New Mexico for over 50 years. At Valley Fence, the difference is clear. No fence too big, too small, or difficult. We handle them all at Valley Fence Company.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible.
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of ProView Networks. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
Top amateur at the U.S. Open, like they do at the PGA Championship. They honor, top club pro. But there's always a story about a guy who just got in, the last guy who got in, and whatever. I don't know. It'd be. I'm going to watch it. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm rooting hard for the kid and the opportunity that he has in representing UNM, man, and playing for the Lobos, but it's the story that New Mexico can latch onto. The U.S.
How about the whole angst, right? You know, your first alternate, and you know there's 4 or 5 or 6 spots open, but they could be filled, and you might get the call, or you might not. And just what did he say? Well, I was just hanging out in San Diego at the beach, playing a few rounds.
Not a bad place to let off some steam.
I mean, you're doing all right. All right, let me get you some of the emails that you've sent in this morning. Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. JJ at sportsanimalabq.com. Bourne says, where are you now, Jeffy Lube? I guess Bourne's watching on the simulcast. But he says, can I make a NBA hot take? He says, the Heat are tired. It's been a long year. They had to come up through the losers bracket where the Nugs were sitting with their legs up on their couch. Miami's out of gas. I don't know that I think he's totally wrong. I think there's something to that.
A lot of basketball to this point in time.
Yeah, you know, we go back to that 9-10 day rest that the Nuggets had while the Heat were battling up 3-0, 3-1, 3-2, tied 3-3, and then had to go to Massachusetts and win that Game 7, and then go. There's something to it, and you figure at some point, and they won't tell you this. There's no way they're going to say we're tired or there's some fatigue, but there's got to be something to it, right? I mean, the more you play.
You didn't handle your business. Like, they got through the Eastern Conference Finals, but they were up 3-0. And you let a game get away, okay, 3 games in a row, and then you got to come right back from Boston right to Denver and the altitude and play. Yeah, that should be advantage Denver all series long.
And it's been. Jack sent me this. It says, and it's Jeff at sportsanimalabq.com. That's where you can send me an email. Says, was this the worst local sports weekend ever, Jeffy? United lost, Gladiators lost, baseball team dropped 5 of 6, are now last in the PCL by 5 lengths. It's from Jack. I don't know if the worst local weekend ever. One good. Gladiators got beat
Harvard
again.
I always take it. There's always something.
Laurent Rivard, do you remember him? We haven't talked about that. United got beat. It was Mac Hemmy's debut as interim coach. They go to Tampa and get beat by the Rowdies 3-2. So they are now 4 wins, 6 losses, 2 draws. So that's a third of the way through the season now, right, JJ? 12 out of, I believe, 36. Tampa Bay is third, I believe, in the table on the east side of the USL division. That's where they were. They went out and got a couple goals. I guess they came out firing, but another tough result for the home side.
On the road, tough atmosphere. It's not surprising. I mean, Tampa Bay is favorite. The Rowdies should win that game at home. They're up 3-1. United get a late goal back. Dolphins on the road against a good team.
Do you expect them to go the rest of the season with Mac Hemme as the interim, or do you expect them, because the pool is going to be smaller, certainly in season, to find somebody to come in and be your head coach and technical director? Or do you expect them to find somebody? And look, man, I can't tell you how many people it was in Speak Up today keep saying Jeremy Fishbein. The former Lobo soccer coach who was in India, who I believe is back in town. I know he was, and I believe he's here. And people feel like it'd be a great PR move. It would win over all those angry UNM soccer people.
It won't.
It's
That's
a
not
guy
the move to make.
You don't think that's? I mean, I can't tell you how many times I hear that.
It's on the list, but that's not the. You just have to make that move. Like United, I think they'll take their time. I don't expect it to be tomorrow, right around the corner. Like, this is a huge hire for the franchise.
Why is that not the move? And I'm not pretending I know, so I don't know enough.
Just because it's New Mexico to New Mexico,
right?
You need cast a wide net, and if it ultimately comes down to you know what, we think this is the best for our franchise right now, then do it. But don't do it just because it's New Mexico.
So Jeremy was over in India and working over there. Jeremy, I gotta believe, knows the game really well, right?
Would his resume, would I look at it? Absolutely. But it's also one that you don't make the hire just because.
I agree with that.
He's here. He's a good coach.
Well, okay. Let me pass
Maybe
this.
If it would be for an interim tag. Would would I have kicked the tires on, hey, what do you think about bringing Jeremy Fishbein to be the interim coach for the rest of the season?
All right, let me ask you this, and we'll go to the phones. Now that you brought in a director of sport, is that the term? Right, you got
a general manager.
Okay, so that's the person. If the argument is, well, he doesn't really have the connections, and I don't know if he does or not, to go find players. Well, you just hired someone to do that job, right? If it's just about coaching and tech, and again, I don't know that game nearly as well as other people, but it felt like he was a pretty good coach. If you're just bringing someone in to coach and to be a personality, and somebody else, you got your director of sport to go find players. I don't know. That's why I think so many people are saying that. All right, 505-246-0610. Let's go. Rudy, good morning. You're on the Sports Animal. Hi, Rudy.
Hey, good morning. So I think tonight's the end of the line for the Miami Heat. Denver's a complete team. They've looked really good this whole series, and give them a couple of days off and back home, and I think they're going to close it out. And I kind of said to people before that if Miami wins one game, that would be pretty good work for them.
I think you're right on this. I don't know that Miami's going to be satisfied winning one game, but I do believe it ends tonight.
I just you watch the way Denver can play, and they've just met every single challenge, and I think they are by far the best team. A couple of other quick things. This week is a big week for Lobo football, not because of football, but because of what Danny's doing in the community. You have the Extraordinary Lobos Camp tomorrow. And this Saturday you have the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation. And if anybody knows what's going on with Coach Gonzalez, his daughter was diagnosed with juvenile diabetes, and that's a horrible diagnosis to get on Thanksgiving Day last year. But typical Danny and Sandra, they found a way to give back to the community, and this whole thing is about raising awareness and getting insulin pumps for kids. So I've made my donation, and if people out there are listening, or anybody like somebody in my family who was affected by juvenile diabetes, it's a very worthy cause. And, getting the kids out there who have, as Danny says, different abilities is always a great thing to see. I think it's open to the public so they can come by and see the camp. So if you get a chance to go out there and support those two worthy causes, I think it would be great.
Appreciate you. No, that and they're doing great work in the community. Rudy, thank you for that. Yes, and yes, and yes. And if that's something that you can do, I know they'd appreciate that. Howard, good morning. You are on the Sports Animal. Hi, Howard.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Life's good. What's happening?
Oh, you know what? I like JJ's idea about hiring Fishbein as a temporary, interim coach for the rest of the year. I think that's a really good idea. You don't just pick the prettiest girl in the room right away, and you kind of got to fill it out, don't you think?
Why don't you get the prettiest girl right away? I don't understand that logic. Why not?
Well,
I'm just. I mean, never mind coaches. What about the pretty? Never mind coaches. I mean, why wouldn't you go for the prettiest girl? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I think it would make a lot of style points, but then you've got a percentage of UNM fans that'll never be happy about anything. So it's who knows what's going to happen here. But I think Rudy's spot on. I think Denver's going to be fresh tonight and close them out. Miami's had a long road. I haven't been calling much lately, guys, but I'm watching and listening.
I'm glad you're there. Thanks, Howard. I'm glad you're there and appreciate it. I don't know, JJ, when you walk in the room, you notice the prettiest girl first, or you? I mean, I'm just asking. You can't make that move first and then kind of work your way down?
Yeah, you go big or go home.
Just asking. I mean, I wouldn't know anything about that kind of thing anyway. What the hell would I know? All right, 505-246-0610, 888-922-0610. When we come back, let's talk a little football. Patrick Mahomes kind of moving towards GOAT status. Is that where this is going? What that means, what happened over the weekend with that. But first I want to tell you about John Thomas Jewelers, the best jeweler, period. You know how I knew that? I just knew it the day I walked in. I knew it when I walked in and felt the whole different atmosphere on the third floor of the Lewis University building, 1 block south of Manal on Louisiana, across the mall. It's a different spot. You have to want to get there, right? This isn't you just kind of stumble into some mall jeweler and you start buying stuff out of a case. This is custom, beautiful jewelry that's affordable because they do it right there in Albuquerque, right there in their shop. They do more custom jewelry in a week than most jewelers do in a year. And if you're looking for that ring, that special piece, whatever it is, go make it at John Thomas Jewelers. Jeff, I don't know how to make jewelry. I know they do. And they'll walk you through the process, and you'll see what you love, and it'll be yours forever. And right now, this is still going on. With any purchase of just $5,999, they're giving away a 7-night all-inclusive trip to the Dominican Republic. So it's ideal for anyone looking just to get away or get engaged. You get the ring and the honeymoon, or an anniversary, you get the jewelry and the trip. Go buy. It's a gift, not a contest. It's a gift while supplies last. JohnThomasJewelers.com. John Thomas Jewelers on the 3rd floor of the Lewis University building, 1 block south of Manal on Louisiana, right across the Coronado Mall. If you can dream it, they will make it.
Telling it like it is. Because what Baltimore's
Mitch, there's a line drive right at the shortstop for out number 3.
Apodaca ripped to left field. That will bounce in, so it's going to be extra bases as they'll have to chase that one at the wall in the warning track. Flipped up, there's no play at home. So it's an RBI double for Andrew Apodaca. Runner at third. High leverage spot. Can Chavez keep the tie? No, that's going to be cracked into left field. It's a base hit as Love puts the Sandia Matadors ahead for the first time today.
The 0-2. It's upstairs, goes to the backstop, and the run will not score. Gun down at home.
Chavez rocks and fires. Ahmed, that's going to be an RBI for Ahmed as that one right through the gap in right center. Petrie will scoop that one, and it's looking like a triple as Ahmed plugs into third base, and what a way to score that run for the Matadors.
Coach Romero barking out his orders there to his players. He's been around the game for a long time. Nice shot to center field. That'll bring runners in. Just like that, La Cueva will bring 3 runners in to go up 3-0. Runner advances to third. Shot to center. That looks good. That's gone. Man, outstanding center shot there as La Cueva will score.
Player ever? Not yet. Will he be? Maybe. What's up, y'all? Merry Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Father's Day weekend staring at you. That means U.S. Open. Look at you with Father's Day. Your eyes got big and bright. Got big plans for Father's Day weekend?
Jeff, you know what we do. Huge day every day.
Yes, I'm familiar with it. Opening drive, Jeff, JJ, and DC. You can get in. The phone number to get in is the 377 Brewery Hotline, 505-246-0610. That also serves as the text line. All right, so there's a new backup in Kansas City. It's Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert. He backed up Tom Brady. So Blaine Gabbert says, quote, I see the similarities on how they operate. Meeting rooms, practice fields. Now they are completely different players, as we all know, but the way they approach the game on and off the field is the exact same way, and you can see why both have had sustained success early on and throughout their careers, end quote. Blaine Gabbert comparing Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. What do you make of that?
Well, if there's a dude that can run down Tom Brady, not just championship victories, but in the conversation to be the best ever, it's Patrick Mahomes. Because he has the talent and everything else. And that stuff matters at that position. Like, you got to put in the extra work. You got to still be doing the little things behind the scenes as an NFL quarterback. And I thought that was interesting because no one thinks that Patrick Mahomes is just coasting. But there's still an element of, well, that's just the most talented dude. So he's going to go out there and just keep slinging it and running circles around everyone. But he's still doing the little things that matter. And that kind of morphed into my thoughts on Aaron Rodgers this weekend. And we just, the Jets just wrapped up OTAs. And you know who was present for every single day of off-season team activities?
Aaron Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers. And with this move to the New York Jets, I think this was the kick in the backside that Aaron Rodgers needed. So he can actually try to go out on top and just realize that, hey, these little things, they do matter. And there's certain dudes you can get to a point in your career where, yeah, you can be ready to go. You can get by. You can be ready for the season. But not everyone else is you. Not everyone else is at that level. And the Packers, they were frustrated because they weren't that team last year. They had young receivers. They had guys that they liked, but Rodgers wasn't there. And it didn't help them get to that level. So they had to use the regular season to do that. And that's how a team goes, whether it was 8-9, 9-8, missing the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback.
He's having fun. He's been rejuvenated. It's like, I don't even know if he disliked being in Green Bay anymore. I just know he didn't like it. Does that make sense? You see where I'm going with the difference? You get to a point where you get complacent, and if you allow yourself, whatever you do, I mean, like I've been doing this show for 15 years, and I find ways to continue to rejuvenate me. And I'm not gonna lie, right? You help with that tremendously. The rotation that we've had on producers, bringing DC in was refreshing. When A-Marie came in, it's been refreshing. It's like, that's the kind of stuff that's kept me from getting into a rut. And I wonder if he got into a rut there, but it feels like he said the last 6 weeks have been about the most fun I've had in a while. And I think he just needed something different. My favorite line from him this week was in regards to Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson is the former BYU quarterback, the number 2 overall pick 2 years ago by the Jets. The guy who was going to be the new quarterback of the future, who has not been really the quarterback of the future for the New York Jets. And before Tom Brady was signed, Zach Wilson was asked about them bringing in a quarterback, and his quote was, "I'm going to make that dude's life hell in practice every day," end quote. Aaron Rodgers on Zach Wilson, quote, "He hasn't made my life hell every day," end quote.
It's a little different when it's Aaron Rodgers coming in versus
well, it's just so good. It's just so who he is. And does he become more or less likable in New York? So when we sit here in mid to late November, okay, and look, everybody's gone. He's been, I don't even want to say one of the most polarizing. I think people have an opinion on him more than any football player. Maybe, I would even argue more than Tom Brady, because Tommy's just been not a huge personality, right? But over the last decade and a half in the NFL, I would say he's been the most opinionated, or people have, how do you say that? People have had the most opinions on him. Polarizing, but I think people have swung
differently than everyone else. He's doing his one-on-one stuff, McAfee, or how he's handling himself.
Well, go back to the vaccination thing.
Darkness retreats, this or that. So he puts himself out there so people react differently to Aaron Rodgers. And here's the thing. If the Jets are winning games and they're playoff contender, which they expect to be with Aaron Rodgers, to answer your question, he will be less liked because people will be tired of Jets fans and that New York atmosphere coming at them.
Yeah, I get. So you think less liked, huh?
Of course.
If they win, he's going to be less prickly, right?
Usually.
Now, Well, yeah, that's just how it is, right? When guys win, they enjoy talking to the media and talking to people a hell of a lot more than they do when they're losing. When they lose, they got to go do it. It's an obligation. They become prickly. It's just the way it is. That's when dudes get cranky. If they win, dude, we don't argue Aaron Rodgers has kind of an interesting, different personality, right?
He does.
Like there's something there. There's something that makes you laugh, whatever. If they win, I think he's going to be more liked. But to your point, if they lose or if they don't win at the clip at which they expect to win, I think he becomes prickly and cranky, and people kind of say, dude, you made your bed. This is what you wanted. This is what you got. And I think there's a faction of people who are out there hoping for that, right?
Of course. Anytime with – and Aaron Rodgers still has – I look at this and was it 2-year deal he's on with the Jets, and I expect him to be very good, even in the AFC where you're trying to chase down Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen. The Bills are going to be there on that list. Like I believe Aaron Rodgers should have the Jets in that conversation to compete with those teams in the AFC, and kind of bringing it back to the conversation we were just having about San Francisco. How about the Jets putting themselves in this position, missing on the number 2 overall pick?
But they made it. But they made it up. They got Aaron Rodgers, right?
But roster-wise,
no, I agree with you.
Being able to be competitive, because usually you see everything crumble when you miss on a high pick at quarterback. And these are two franchises that were able to be stable enough to where they could get to a point where they find that next piece and still be competitive.
So you see bad franchises crumble when they miss a quarterback. You see the Cleveland Browns crumble when they miss on quarterback. With all due respect, Raider fan, kind of seen your team in the past, not necessarily with Derek Carr, but like Jamarcus Russell, when they miss a quarterback. You've seen Carolina somewhat crumble when they miss a quarterback, right? I don't know what the hell Washington's doing with quarterback. But franchises like that, like the Niners are good. But to your point though, in the past the Jets were a bad franchise and how many times have they crumbled when they missed a quarterback? A lot.
Well, to
a
be
lot.
able to still build a roster enough, because Aaron Rodgers would not have agreed to that trade just because the Jets needed a quarterback. Like, they had to have pieces on that roster, and they were able to do that.
Text line says, I think in New York, Aaron's getting what he always wants. Lots. That's like LOOTTTTTTS in caps. Lots of attention. Can't get that much attention in Green Bay. I think there's something to that. And he got a hell of a lot of attention being in Green Bay, but he couldn't go sit courtside at the Knicks games. Right? I mean, I don't think anybody ever mistaked Green Bay for New York City. And no, I mean, there's something to that. He's getting a lot of attention. He's getting what he wants. He's getting the love. Yeah, I think there's a whole lot to that. All right, 505-246-0610. We'll wrap it up, get you everything you need to go as you go into your day. And I'll tell you why. I think it ends tonight. I think most of you think it ends tonight. Nuggets and the Heat. We're celebrating JJ and DC having a hangover tomorrow morning after their team wins an NBA championship. It's the opening drive on 95.9 FM and AM 670 Sports Animal.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from US Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At US Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say, people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at US Eagle.
Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with US Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with US Eagle.
Time machine.
Your girlfriend breaks up with you in 22 hours, 53 minutes.
Wait, what? Seth?
We fight the battles no one hears about.
We drop into the middle of firefights to rescue others.
And act as one-man air traffic control towers.
We're the ones who go before all others.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
Hi everyone, my name is Master Sergeant Jacob Groves. I am a Air Force Special Warfare pararescueman. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Network and New Mexico Youth Sports. Air Force Special Warfare operators are critical thinkers. They maintain a high level of fitness, they take initiative, and they don't quit. For more information on Air Force Special Warfare, contact me at the number listed below.
U.S. Air Force Special Warfare are proud supporters of ProView Sports.
As a mom, I try to make the best choices for my family and our health. That's why I choose Western Sky Community Care. It's a Medicaid plan with quality health coverage and special benefits like Boys and Girls Club membership credit, additional dental benefits, and wellness and support programs. I decide which Medicaid plan is right for us. I choose Western Sky Community Care.
Learn more about Western Sky Community Care by visiting discoverwesternsky.com today.
All right, we got tickets to give away, Gladiators tickets. We'll do that before we get out of here. That's for this weekend's game. They're playing Sunday, right? Father's Day up.
These ones will be for the 24th.
All right, that's a different day. All right, we'll do those before we get out of here today. 505-246-0610 is how to get to us. I got these emails that you sent, Jeff at sports.wbq.com. Gopher says, initials only morning show. We are kind of the OD and the AM with JJ and DC, so he wants me to go with JC.
What?
I mean, you're JJ, he's DC. We go with the OD and the AM, but I got a full name. Man, maybe I'm out. All right. Yeah, that works. All right, I appreciate that. Belmont was this weekend. You had the first female trainer to ever win. Carl says Belmont was a yawn. Jeff, football gets through periods where bowls are great and then they aren't very good. The Triple Crown just is in a flat spot this year. Yeah, it wasn't, it's not everybody's thing. Ken says the second most presaged words ever uttered on the OD, Jeff. He might be, the world needs new refs. I understand there were several controversial calls in the Gladiators game. Can't tell you last time I watched a sporting event and thought the refs were great, that it wasn't officiated properly. I don't know. It's hard. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you got humans officiating. You know what I thought was a tough call, JJ? Did we talk about this? What was the last hockey game? Oh, no, it was the game where that Miami won. The tripping call with 11 seconds to go in regulation was horrible. Did we talk about that?
We did.
Okay, that was freaking horrible. All
And
right,
now Miami has a feel being down 3-1 in 2 series.
Yeah, both series, and they're both on the road for Game 5. James says Amanda Nunes retires. Does this put Holly Holm on the fast track for the belt as long as she posts a decent time in the July breeze? She's probably on that pace. Yes, she's on that course.
Looking for something to excite the fan base with Nunez stepping down, the double champ goat.
Yep. Tommy Fleetwood was the guy who lost in the playoff to Nick Taylor in the Canadian Open, and Glenn says for a while in golf, Jeff, all those Brits, Paul Casey, Lee Westwood, and then the Europeans, Miguel Angel Jimenez, were seemingly at the top of the leaderboard every week. They couldn't finish. On Sunday, it's Mick Fleetwood. Is he the new guy that's never going to win? I don't know. And I mean, it's. I mean, those guys won tournaments. They didn't win majors, right? Gus is in on the Isotopes Albuquerque baseball team. It's just not working, Jeff. It's time to clean house from the front office to the ushers. But most importantly, with our facilities, our fan support, this is a team that should be at the top of the PCL year in and year out. If the Rockies aren't going to make that happen, it's time to get another organization in here that will. He's tired of the Rockies, JJ. He's tired of losing.
A lot of people are tired of the Rockies.
You know what, dude? It's funny how stuff turns around. It's tough how the Rockies have been like this. So have you looked at what's going on in the National League West? Have you looked at the standings at all? 2 years ago, Arizona was like the worst team, period, right? Ever. Arizona's in first place by 3.5 games in the National League West. If you walk on the street today and ask anybody who's in first place in the National League West, I don't know, 95% will tell you the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
And they're not.
Los Dodgers.
And then people will tell you, oh, then it's the Padres. Padres are in second to last place. The Arizona Diamondbacks are 3.5 games clear. They're 15 games above 500, and they're in first place. And they're actually pretty damn legit. Like, I don't know if you watch them at all, but why can't the Rockies turn it around? What's the difference in those organizations? And that's where people are getting frustrated.
I feel like
no, honestly.
Next Rockies person we have on, that's a question to float their way.
But am I wrong? Like, if you look at the markets, they're relatively the same age franchises, right? Both have beautiful ballparks. Both have nice destinations. I mean, I guess, you could tell me the elevation is the issue and you can't get pitching there, but then develop damn pitching. But the Rockies continue to be where they are, 13 games under 500, 14 games back. JJ, the Diamondbacks were they weren't a Major League Baseball team 2 years ago. Now, I get it. We're not there yet. We are 65 games into a 162-game season. But they're in first place, ahead of the Dodgers, with a team that is going to make the playoffs. They will make the playoffs. What's the difference? Is it just front office? Is it personnel people? Is it development? What I mean,
yes. Pitching, the Rockies thought they were turning a corner with the run they had, Herman Marquez, Sensatella, Kyle Freeland, and then they regress, and then we see what Marquez Sensatella has Tommy John surgery, out for the season, so it's just Kyle Freeland, and then you're not even competitive pitching wise, and see what happens.
I guess, man. I just, I sense people's frustration. I do. I don't think you need to get rid of John Traub and the Isotope staff, though.
They do a great job out there. They are
damn
fantastic.
good job. Yeah, a really good job. All right, I got the Nuggets tonight, and I'm going to tell you this. I think the Heat go down fighting, but I think in the last 3 minutes it might get away.
Well, I think we've seen that this entire series. It's not they're not ready or they're not giving effort. you're just getting beat. And
They're just
despite,
getting beat.
after the losses kind of from both teams, they tried to float it out there like they weren't ready or the energy, you got to match this. Like, you just got beat in those games. And I think we're seeing the totality of it. I want Denver to win tonight because I want them to be able to close it out at home. I do think that there's something special for a team to be able to win a championship.
There is.
At home. And I think for Miami, we're going to see the best version of Bam Adebayo, the best version of Jimmy Butler. And, man, but Denver, they matched that intensity with their talent. That's been fantastic for them.
Yep. All right, how many tickets we got to give away? The number to get in is 505-246-0610. 2 Gladiator tickets for that game on the 24th. All right, so call now, 505-246-0610, caller number 6. I'll make that call since I can't see DC. Caller number 6 is going to win those tickets for the Gladiators. If you missed the conversation with Bastion Amat, I suggest you go and find it wherever we post, wherever you get your podcasts. It's on our website, sportsoutablabq.com. The Lobo golfer was terrific. He's going to play in the U.S. Open, and you're going to enjoy that a lot.
It's such a great story about, we're seeing these amateurs playing at the highest level, but thinking that you have a chance to get in, not sure, you're an alternate, and then you finally get the call, and see this collegiate golfer with an opportunity to play at the U.S. Open. And my favorite response is what you asked him about. You said, hey, when you're at the U.S. Open, who is it? Is there like a star player? Who do you want? And he's like, I want to speak to everyone that will speak to me. You are at a major golf championship. Everyone has earned their way there. And darn right, I want to talk to everyone.
All of them. And I love that he's, Victor Perez, the former Lobo, who's top 40 in the world, has been active with him, and I think it's wonderful. So thanks to Bastion Amat for being with us today. Jim Rome Show is next. The Herd with Colin Cowards after that. 2 Men On comes your way at 4, and we're back with award-winning radio starting tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. Adrian, good stuff today. DC, thank you. I know I threw a couple curveballs at you today. One day we're going to get one of these completely clean. Completely clean. Big day for you?
Huge day.
Enjoy it. Be good to each other, please. Be kind, loving, caring, and sharing. Smell you tomorrow.
We would like to thank the following sponsors for making this broadcast possible. International Protective Services is a proud supporter of ProView Sports and New Mexico Youth Athletics. IPS provides residential and commercial security services in the Albuquerque metro area. For more info, please call 505-897-2420 or visit internationalprotectiveservice.com.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
Sometimes it's the small things that make life easier, like never worrying about being declined at an ATM when only cash will do. With You're Covered from U.S. Eagle, we'll cover you, even if the money's not there. That's a good feeling. And we do it with no extra fees or penalties. It's called trust, and we think that's important, especially if we're asking you to trust us. At U.S. Eagle, that's just part of what it means when we say people mean more.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Check it out.
What is it?
It's a time machine, bro. I could jump into the future, get my paycheck early.
I already get my paycheck early at U.S. Eagle.
Get Get your paycheck up to 2 days early with U.S. Eagle Early Payday. Now's a great time to have your checking with U.S. Eagle.